50, ladder 12, battalion 8, medic 22B, and we're here to talk about cooking hazards and how they endanger families. For those of you that don't know, Thanksgiving is the day where you have the most cooking fires across the country. This year alone in the city of Philadelphia, we have had 821 cooking fires. And we want to make sure you have a very safe Thanksgiving. So we're going to start off talking about some of the hazards. So if you have pot holders, paper towels, anything that can burn, don't store it near the stove. Make sure you bring it all the way across here because you don't want to have a fire. Also, look at this handle. Make sure you turn that handle in because if you have a young child or someone walking by, they can actually hit that and knock it over. If you have pets and young children, they should be 3 feet from all your cooking areas. So 3 feet is about what, 1, 2, 3, 3 feet. And have a little space to make sure that they don't accidentally come across anything hot. Also, pot handles. This is a nice one, but the problem with this one is it's kind of small. So if you wear anything that's loose fitting, you want to make sure you have one of these, the new and improved long, it comes all the way up and it gives you more protection. So that if I'm reaching to the back of the stove, my sleeves don't catch on fire. So you want something long to protect all your arms and make sure you're protected. We don't want you to ever leave your cooking on the stove unattended. And if you're frying fish, chicken on the stove, keep an eye on what you fry. So one of the things we want to make sure is do not leave your cooking unattended. So if you feel like you might run out, somebody calls you on the phone, somebody knocks at your door, we have a timer here, and this timer would be good to make sure 1 or 2 minutes at the most to make sure that you remember to come back. Another thing you can do is take a long handle spoon or these tines, take them with you if you're going to answer the phone to the door, and that's going to remind you that I have to get back to the kitchen and I have something on the stove. So, what are they doing here at Pipeline 50? We have a little bit corn on the cob, cornbread, string bean, casserole, turkey in the oven. Nice. The key to this is make sure you keep your oven clean. A lot of times when you cook a turkey, you have drippings dripping to the bottom of the oven. You want to make sure you keep that clean because the oven can catch on fire. So let's say you do have a fire. Somehow something goes wrong, you have a fire. The number one thing if you have a stovetop fire is just to turn it off. Turn that stove off, and then you can cover up, if it's a cooking fire, with a frying pan, you can cover that frying pan up, and that will put the fire out. Make sure you do not remove that lid until the whole thing cools off because you can reignite that fire. Same thing with your oven. If you have an oven and it has the glass and you have a fire, turn that oven off, let it cool down. And always remember to dial 911. Again, we want you to have a safe Thanksgiving and a safe holiday because after Thanksgiving is Christmas and we'll be cooking again. So this is Let's Talk Safety. Freedom from fire. Fire is everyone's fight. When everyone to do their part to have a safe holiday. Next, we're going to talk about frying turkeys because that's the new trend, and we all like that fried turkey. It's nice and juicy, and we're going to talk about how you can do that in a safe manner. All right, so we talked about the safety of cooking inside for Thanksgiving. Now we're going to talk about frying turkey. There's a few dangers to frying turkeys that we have listed here. That they can easily tip over, so you want them on a flat surface. You should never, ever fry a turkey on a porch or a deck. Make sure you take them out at least 20 feet from your house, and you want to make sure that you use an approved propane tank. So you want to make sure you check it has a shut-off valve. You want to check the date and make sure that it's approved by Underwriter Laboratories. And you want to make sure when you put your turkey inside your oil, you don't want your turkey to be frozen. You don't want it to be frozen, and you want to make sure that it's dried off. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you have a fire extinguisher handy so that if you do have a fire, you can put it out. Now, if the fire gets too big, you want to make sure you just call 911. Don't try to put it out. But if it's a small fire that you can put out with an extinguisher, put the fire out. Another important factor is to make sure your oil level is not too high. Now, we use water for the sample so that you can see what happens if you feel your oil level too high in the pot. So we're going to have our friend Gentry to demonstrate what happens when you put a turkey in the oil and the oil level is too high. So what you have to do is before you start cooking, put water in there first and test the water level to make sure that it won't overflow. Then you can mark on the side where the water level should be, and then you put your oil in there. You heat your oil. You want to make sure you have a thermometer because you don't want your oil to get too hot. Because if the oil gets too hot, you can have a fire also. So, come on up, Jesse. And don't try this at home. Another thing, perfect, come on up. Another thing you could do is, when you come over, once again, straight down, come over, as you come down, as you see, this is what happens. If that's hot oil, you'll start a fire. So we don't want you to fill it up too high. Go ahead and put it in there. Imagine if this was burning, this burner was on, the propane was on, and you have hot oil spilling, you want to have a big fire, and that oil running down will catch on fire, now you have a big fire. So make sure you measure this ahead of time. So, another thing is that you want to make sure that if you have children or pets, 3 feet, the same way we did in the kitchen, 3 feet circle of safety around this hot oil, 3 feet. So there you have it. Your safety tips to have a nice, safe Thanksgiving. That fried turkey is going to taste nice. It's going to be nice and juicy. But the key is not to have any fires or no fire fatalities this holiday season. Thanks for listening and enjoy your Thanksgiving.